Hi guys, here's video 2-9 to be watched Wednesday 10-12, and the corresponding homework is page 14, the whole thing, which is 3 examples. So as far as finding derivatives goes, we're going to have 4 rules total. So there is the 4 rules and then also formulas we will have. But the main rules are the power rule, which you already know, the product rule, which you're about to learn, the quotient rule, and then something called the chain rule. So those are the 4 rules. So right now you're gonna learn the second rule, which is called the product rule. And on page 16 in your video packet, I cut and pasted for you the product rule theorem, or the formula, and then below the formula that I snipped out of this book, there's also an example below, which you're welcome to read if you'd like to. So here the formula, or the product rule, is presented in 2 ways. So the first way is up here. This is in prime notation, and this is what I'm going to use most of the time. But then there's Leibniz notation below. Definitely take a look at that just so you're used to seeing it both ways. But the product rule says that if you have a product of 2 functions and you're taking its derivative, then in order to do this, you have to use the following formula. So f of x times g prime of x plus f prime of x times g of x. All right, let's jump right into some examples. So this first example is just showing you when you cannot use, or one way in which people try to find the derivative of a product, but it actually doesn't end up working out that way. So here's the example. So we have f of x equals 3x plus 2, g of x equals 2x plus 10, and w is the function f times g. So number 1, find a formula for w of x and simplify. So we have, so here's going to be my work for 1. We know that w of x is f of x times g of x. So f of x is 3x plus 2, and g of x is 2x plus 10. So I'm going to distribute, and I get 6x squared plus 30x plus 4x plus 20. And now I'm combining like terms, and I get 6x squared plus 34x plus 20. Okay, so down here I'll just say for number 1 that w of x is 6x squared plus 34x plus 20. Alrighty, number 2, find f prime of x. Okay, so f of x is 3x plus 2, so that means that f prime of x is 3, just using the power rule. I get 3. For number 3, g prime of x. G prime of x, well, g of x is 2x plus 10, so g prime of x is 2. And then number 4, they want w prime of x. And for that, I will use what I found wx to be when I distributed and simplified. So using power rule, we get 12x plus 34. And now, guys, a lot of times, if people are going to take the derivative of something like this, like the way that wx is written out here as the product of 2 binomials, they will think, well, I just take the derivative of this one and I multiply it by the derivative of that one. Well, the derivative of this one is 3, the derivative of that one is 2, and here in number 5 they're asking, is w prime f prime times g prime? So the mistake that a lot of people would make is they'd think that w prime of x would have to be 3 times 2, the derivatives of the factors separately and then multiplied. No, that's not true. 3 times 2 is 6. That's not w prime of x. So the answer is a resounding no. Alrighty, guys. So long story short, in order to find the derivative of a product like this, you would have to either expand out and then use the power rule, or you could use the product rule. So in the next example, we're going to use the product rule. And on your homework tonight, which is 3 problems, please do it just like I'm doing. In the future, you will be faster than what I'm about to do. But please, for your homework, just while we're getting the mechanics down, please do exactly what I'm about to do. So use the product rule to differentiate the function below. Differentiate just means take the derivative of the function below. Alrighty, now off to the side, I'm going to write the product rule for myself. If I have f times g and I want the derivative of that product, then I have to use the product rule, which says that we get the derivative by doing f prime g plus f g prime. Okay, so off to the side we have that so we can look at it. So down here, use the product rule to differentiate the function below. I'm going to do something that I would like you to do on your homework. So guys, I'm going to put in these blank brackets. I'm going to have 4 of them. So I'm going to have 2 there with a plus sign between, and then 2 more. All right. And here I'm going to put a prime outside of the first one in this group, and then a prime outside of the last one there. Okay, and then inside I'm just going to put my 2 functions. So this is going to be 2t to the 5th minus t to the 3rd minus 2t plus 1. And then I'm just going to write those same functions again in order. 2t to the 5th minus t to the 3rd minus 2t plus 1. And guys, if you look at what I did, I'm essentially just using this formula up here. F prime g plus f g prime. All right. Now, if you've got a bracket with a prime on the outside, that means that you're going to take the derivative of what's inside of it. So I'm about to get my final answer, so I'm going to write s prime of t. All right, you do not have to simplify these, guys. If you really want to, go ahead. I mean, it'll look prettier in the end, but you don't have to simplify. And when you take the AP test, I'm going to really encourage you not to, just in case you make a little mistake that, and then you end up losing points that you wouldn't have otherwise. So taking the derivative of this, I get 10t to the 4th minus 1. That's a binomial, so I'll need parentheses. Now this one, guys, there's no prime on the outside. That's just coming down. So this is t to the 3rd minus 2t plus 1. Bring down the plus sign. No prime outside here. I'm not taking its derivative. I'm just bringing it down. And then multiplied by the derivative of this, which is 3t squared minus 2. Okay, and done. So just like that. Alrighty. So at this point, I'm going to do another example, but you don't have to watch it, guys. Okay, so if you feel like you want another example of this, keep watching. But if you feel like you're good, that you get the idea, you don't have to do that. So I'm going to add here an optional example 3. Okay, so you can stop you could stop watching now if you'd like. Just remember that the homework is page 14, the whole thing. So here's optional example number 3. I'm going to take wx, which is 3x plus 2 times 2x plus 10. All right, and then we're going to find w prime of x with the product rule. All right. And guys, this w of x is the same one from the very first example. We found the derivative already of it by distributing and then using the power rule. Now we're going to find its derivative using the product rule. Okay, so I'm going to set up my brackets. So I do, oopsie. Okay, so bracket prime, no, I'm messing up already. So I go bracket prime bracket plus bracket prime. All right, so you could, and if you want to remember it this way, you just set up 4 brackets plus sign between, or a plus sign right after the first 2, prime on the first bracket, prime on the last bracket. Okay, so this is f prime g plus fg prime. And then I just put the functions, these two functions inside the brackets in order. So I go 3x plus 2, 2x plus 10, again, 3x plus 2, 2x plus 10. All right. And I'm about to get my final answer, so I'm going to bring down a w prime of x equals, derivative of this is just 3. I'm not taking the derivative of that one, I'm just bringing it down in parentheses because it's a binomial. Bring down the plus sign. Okay, so bring down that plus sign. And now I'm going to bring this one down in parentheses, and next to it I will have the derivative of this one. So the derivative of that is just 2, so I'm going to write that first, and then bring down the 3x plus 2. All right. Now guys, just so that you can see, you could stop here, but just so you can see that this is actually the same thing that we got when we found its derivative using the power rule in the first example, I'm just going to distribute and combine like terms. So this is 6x plus 30 plus 6x plus 4. And combining like terms, we see that this is 12x plus 34. Same thing that we got using the power rule in the first example. Okay guys, so there's that. I hope that was helpful if you stayed for the third example, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.